Daredevil Born Again is airing over on Disney Plus, and some folks might be interested in getting involved with some comics and checking out some things. And I've been dealing with a lot of pushback because modern comics have just been so subpar. Anyway, I was reading that series, the original comic book story, and seeing how much we've come away from the original storyline, and I kept going in the series, and I got to literally the next issue. This is Daredevil 234, and it's a book that I kind of remember. I remember the character. This is Madcap. Great cover, great stuff, and I got to the inside page, and I was like so struck by the fact that the art here and the people that are behind this are none other than the famous Steve Ditko and Klaus Janson. Now, Klaus Janson is some of the most famous creators of all time. So Steve Ditko, of course, is the co-creator of Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, among other things, and Klaus is one of the famous co-creators with Frank Miller on the original Miller Daredevil run. And here you have Ditko art with Klaus doing the inks and the finishings. And what I was struck by is, first off, this book is probably in some dollar bins, to be honest. And especially if you don't care the condition that it's in, you definitely can get it for $1. I don't have any copies of it myself, but it's going to be one that I'm going to grab. It is a remarkable piece of work that Steve Ditko did. So again, let's just think about this for a second here. These are no-name thugs who don't have any real purpose. Look at the details, the shadows, all the inking, the elements here. Little fight scene with Madcap jumping around, doing his thing, bashing some heads. Lots of details, lots of interesting elements here with the action and what's going on. His powers are kind of playing out here. And I was kind of taken aback here by a couple of frames where these guys with these orange, they actually have a lot of details in their drawing. Like there's clothing details, there are some facial features, what's actually going on. You see some of the stuff continuing in a few panels later. Daredevil swoops in, of course. You have all of that action that's kind of taking place here. Now, I wanted to get to this panel here with the guy on the right, the blonde guy, because he doesn't have a ton of facial features, but he does have identifying marks. So he has eyes, nose, mouth, etc. I'm gonna get to why I'm bringing this up. So Steve Ditko is he's detailing everything. You got everything you need here. Lots of attention to detail. Look at the details on Daredevil and these shots, just beautifully done. I'm kind of going through the entire book and page after page, just beautiful. Everything's here. These guys are literally in the shadows and they have detailed facial features. And then you have down here incredible movement, action, lots of inking, shadows, all this stuff that's in here. And it's just a really phenomenal book. It's just really a phenomenal book for something that's just kind of a like a filler book. Like it's not a book that's a key issue. It's not a book that anyone's going to talk about. It's just a again, this is where Daredevil TV could be done a little differently than the way they do it, because now what Disney Plus does is they just make a 4 to 8 hour movie. Maybe there's two movies kind of put in or whatever. And this is one of my criticisms, and most of these things are just way too slow. Lots of filler, lots of fluff. There's a good hour and a half movie in there, but it didn't need to be 6 episodes of my life or whatever. That's really kind of an overarching criticism of a lot of modern television. And I compare that to like the Flash TV show. If you go back to the Flash TV show, what they would do is villain of the week with an overarching villain story that kind of hung in the background and it kind of went on from there. Now, they lost the script. Once you get out past like season 3 or 4 or whatever, it started to derail. I get it. But that initial season was pretty much what reading comic books felt like. Every episode felt like another issue. This is a perfect example of how you could have a comic book adapted for a TV show that would feel like an episodic TV, like the old school episodic TV. You'd sit down and watch a TV show. It didn't matter if you'd watched every single episode to this point. You could just jump in on reruns. You could just jump and watch any of them. Now, everything requires homework. It requires a lot of time and energy and effort to be put into things. And here you see Steve Ditko, who could have just phoned this in as a filler guy. Just could have just he's after Born Again, obviously late in his life. No one's going to throw stones at Steve Ditko for, I don't know, not bringing it on Daredevil 234. But that is not what we get. We get detailed action, detailed characters, detailed everything, page after page after page. Okay. And I'm going to get to why I bring all this up now because I want to compare this to a modern comic and an interaction that I had with an artist and kind of give you my take on where we are with things. All right, this is a brand new issue of Herculoids #1 by Dynamite. If you haven't seen Dynamite's work over the last couple years, they have done incredible licensing with these beautiful covers and tons of variant covers, and it's eye-grabbing, right? And I'm a huge Herculoids guy. I love the cartoons. I'm going to do a special show here recently. It's on shows like Herculoids. And here I wanted to get to this book. I thought, oh man, I'm a big fan of Space Ghost. I'm a big fan of this era. And here you go. You have the whole family, beautiful covers. Everything in here is interesting, right? So I'm reading along the story. Look at this. You have old school painted art. You have all sorts of stuff going on in this book. So I'm like, oh, cool. It'll be kind of fun. Let's get into it. And immediately the art is so subpar and juvenile. I was turned off. Like I was just like, this is sad. Chris Rousseau is the artist. Look at how there's no details at all. And again, it's a children's book. It's not Daredevil. It's not action sequences or anything like that. And it's just, look at this. This is what we get for faces, right? You compare this to what we were just looking at for what Steve Ditko did. And I want to come down here. Now, this is Zandar. He's the patriarch of this family. He's the one that we're going to talk about here in a minute. He's going to ride on Zok as they head into battle. You're going to have these different elements. And again, this is just a general, generic action adventure kind of thing. And I get all that. That's all fine. I'm not criticizing that per se until we get down here nearly the end of the book. Kind of like near, we're getting down here a little bit. And then we get to this panel with Zandor on Grok. Now, I know you can't see it. All right, we're going to zoom in here a little bit. You can see Zandor right there on Zok. And yeah, Zandor has no face. Yeah, that's right. There's no eyes, mouth. There's not a dot. There's not a line. He has no hands. He's shooting his slingshot. Now, again, this is the main character. This is the patriarch of the family. Okay? Now, I understand. All right, maybe he just got through. It's a big mistake. It's an error. Yeah, this is the next panel. Still no face. We zoom in. He's actually speaking. Show them, Zok. Show them that they should never have come. He's actually speaking and still has no face. I'm sorry. This is inexcusable. This is a joke. Like, I'm sorry. Steve Ditko was doing a fill-in issue on Daredevil after Born Again and like drew excruciating details on every single page and every single panel. You aren't even putting faces on the protagonists of the character. Now, it's a kid's book. I get it. But at some point, you need to be accountable for why we're not buying these books. I would be very interested in those variant covers. A couple of them for sure. I'm a Herculoids guy. I am literally supposed to be your target audience. I've been into Space Ghost, loving Space Ghost. But notice that I'm not, and I've been picking up some Thundercats, not nearly as much. I think Thundercats interior art is also very subpar. However, not on the scale of this, Chris Rousseau. This is abomination, an absolute joke. And Dynamite, you should be embarrassed that you allowed this to get through. Like, the alpha character, the main protagonist character, the patriarch of the family does not have a face in not one panel, but two panels. The one he's speaking as we zoom in on the other panel, basically. That's been my week in comics. I am sort of flabbergasted. I'm not shocked or surprised. So if any of you are thinking, I should be shocked or surprised, Pops, let them die. Don't give them your money. What? I got it. Trust me. If there's anyone that has become excruciatingly critical of where I spend my money, you can ask. Stone Cold Loki will tell you when I go shopping for him and I'm buying different things, he gets kind of like a first dibs look at some of the stuff I get. I'm buying vintage Transformers and G.I. Joe, and on new stuff, I'm buying Transformers and G.I. Joe and Geiger. And yeah, I might buy a Thundercats, and I'd be interested in buying these. And now I'm just ticked off that you care so little about the quality of your work and the book that I'm supposed to shell out money for. You didn't buy it. You didn't even do the, look, go back into my videos. You'd find I made fun of DC for putting 2 dots for eyes or putting just 2 dots, You know, two dots for an eye, dot for the nose, and a slight in front. Like literally like elementary school art. No, Chris Rousseau, I reached out to you on Blue Sky and asked what you're. Oh, well, sometimes I just don't put those kind of details in the background. You're a paid comic book artist, and you just don't think the main character should have a face. I don't know. I don't know. Sorry. I will wait till it's in a dollar bin if I get one at all. Because now I'm just angry about it. Now I'm just frustrated that you made such a low quality book. And I'm sorry. You can try to justify it all you want. It's cheap. It's lazy. You were either rushed. You just don't care. Just be honest. What's actually going on here? I think you just don't care. I think you just got away with it. No one cared. The editors don't care at Dynamite. So I would rather buy 10 of those Steve Ditko Daredevil books than buy one of these. That's just how I feel right now. That's where we are. Why I'll buy more Steve Ditko Daredevil books than I'll buy the brand new variant covers at Herculoids to Dynamite. That's just, yeah, this is sad. It's a sad, sad state of affairs. And that's where I'm at. There you go. I've ranted enough. I am Pops.